Asmongold debating Tim Pool was unexpected, but definitely the crossover episode we wanted. As when Timcast went off on Adam Conover for being an idiot, Zach reacted to Tim's response to the very fine people hoax.
He said there were very fine people on both sides.
Except the neo-seasoned white nationalists who should be condemned totally.
I don't live in your bubble, man.
You don't live in the
bubble? Just so you guys can understand this bubble analogy fully. So, Adam's bubble is the smaller bubble. This is literally the worst metaphor to possibly use. I think that Tim Pool is being way too aggro about this, and because of that, he's making Adam super defensive. I like Tim. I think Tim's fine. I've watched an Adam video I've agreed with too, for that matter.
To which Tim then responded to.
In the segment, Asmon was saying that I was going too aggro, and it was less effective because of how aggro I was going. And I just wanted to mention this. I recommend you guys watch it. You decide for yourself, but the one thing I will say in that regard is I don't do sit-downs with people like Adam Conover and a couple more coming up, which are going to be big, so that I can try and win hearts and minds over. I do it because I want to have a conversation with the person. And so if after an hour and a half I'm aggravated, that's what comes out on the show. If that makes me bad at my job, then I apologize, but that's what I do. So I do recommend you guys watch that because it was something else.
And Asmongold reacted to his reaction, even bringing in his beanie.
I understand that you want to have a conversation, but even inside of the context of having a conversation, I have never found that a person raising their voice in a conversation makes a conversation more effective. And I even agree with his exasperation. I was just simply making an optics observation. And so I kind of feel like an asshole talking about this and being like, oh, well, Tim is wrong and all this, because I basically agree with him. But this is just it's a minor viewpoint difference. It makes you look irrational. It does. He does care about optics. How do we know that he cares about optics? You can see it in the frame. It's the beanie.
Now, I do identify the absurdity of me reacting to a reaction of a reaction, but apparently that's just the current internet meta. So I'm here to say everybody is wrong. No beanies, no roach kings. You should just get all your news from a bootleg Sub-Zero. As I think Asmongold is tying Tim getting angry to how Hasan gets angry. But Tim cast his political commentary, while Hasan is just performative outrage with merch. So I don't mind when Tim finally brings a liberal on his show, and an hour in he puts on the pressure to see if they can still stand by their so-called values. As Tim's anger is a rarity, while Hasan's fragile emotions is basically his co-host. And even though Asmon calls Tim out for going aggro, Tim is openly using this as a click funnel to watch the show for yourself. Even I covered the outburst to 400,000 views, with Asmongold getting almost 1 million, which is perfect when the second most watched news stream gets acknowledged by the first biggest gaming stream. Now, I will preface this with my skepticism of that certain other platforms' viewership, as at any given time I can see someone getting 10,000 live viewers with a live chat that looks like 50. Maybe there's a majority television audience or something else I'm missing, so I won't say for certain. Just that Asmongold covering your channel is a huge endorsement that anybody would be lucky to receive, as he was the 9th most searched term on YouTube this year, even over Kendrick Lamar and the NBA. And right on cue, jealousy couldn't help but chime in, with Hasan essentially calling Asmongold a right-wing grifter. I think it's hilarious to witness the paradigm of riding Asmongold's popularity. Tim sees it as an entry point for gamers and roach enthusiasts to get more into long-form political content, while Hasan shrieks at the idea of an informed audience being more difficult to indoctrinate, as Hasan's projection is getting to astronomical levels.
I genuinely cannot comprehend how or why other streamers continue to collab with this man on camera. The he says is so disgusting. One, people are worried about getting blasted by his legion of mass harassers. Okay, that's a big part of the problem.
I'm someone that has personally seen Asmongold agree with and disagree with on his live stream, but never have I been afraid that his 60,000 live viewers were going to lash out on me. Inversely, there's several examples of Hasan's audience being terrible to whoever he labels as the opposition. But again, I don't think this is Hasan being angry at Asmon. This is Hasan desperately grasping at internet relevance. as even when H3H3 makes fun of his feet, Hasan responds to the meme, but within seconds, he's bringing it back to Asmongold.
Like, Asmongold's a great example of this. He will cut thousands of videos going forward, as he has already. When I say, hey man, we can have a discussion if you want, as I've suggested numerous times, his fan base literally shuts off that counter. They just don't. They're like, nah.
A debate that Zach is completely disinterested in.
Like, why would I talk to Hasan so he can lie and make up a bunch of bullshit like he did with Ethan?
As at any given time, Zach sees nearly double his viewership on Twitch. And it's even worse on YouTube, where Hasan struggles to get Decoy voice numbers, where in the same time frame, Asmongold gets 10 times the attention. I would say it's sad to be a declining creator on a declining platform, but I believe Hasan comes from a super wealthy family, so he'll be fine. I'm just happy that we're finally at a place that artificially propped up polished personalities like Hasan or anybody on CNN is finally losing the dry, long-form content hosted by guys wearing a beanie to the White House and the Roach King. Why doom scroll on social media when you have my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, so subscribe to Decoy Voice.